everybody, and welcome back to Dr. Holland's music class. So, if you've been a visitor to my YouTube channel or my website, then you would have noticed that I am just crazy about ways to implement different forms of music technology into your classroom, into your units, into your lessons. The things that I have found my kids have so much fun with that we use, but there's one app in particular that I found when I got my classroom set of iPads. And by the way, if you're looking for a way to get any kind of big money for technology that you want to implement, classroom set of iPads, for example, then you need to consult your grant writer at your school about Title IV funding. There is Title IV funding out there via the federal government to help with music class and technology that you want to implement into music class. And if you have any questions about how to make that happen, you can either leave some comments down here in the comment section of this video, or you can go to my website, lmhmusicteacher.wixsite.com/my site, and then do the contact me form that's on there and send me questions that you have about what I did to get the classroom set of iPads in my room via Title IV funding. Now, on to this particular app that I found on the iPads that I went head over heels for. My students went head over heels for. And whenever we do our Mozart unit and we talk about the different music that he's created, which includes obviously opera, he was a very prolific opera composer during his short lifetime. There is an app out there called Opera Maker, and it is just a blast. It's a fun, very easy way for kids to comprehend how operas, or sort of in a way put together, what are the components of opera, what an opera story is about, and then you get to teach them operatic terms like aria, recitative, and things like that. So let's get into this just amazingly cool app on the iPad called Opera Maker. Okay, so here is the Opera Maker app. With the app icon itself is a picture of a guy in a unicorn costume, basically. But you're probably looking at the screen being very confused and saying, "Well, I mean, I speak English, but this is in German." Well, let me show you how you can change that. If you look over in the corner, you'll see a penguin sitting there with a German flag and a British flag. So if you hit the British icon, the British flag icon, it transfers it over into English, translates everything into English for you. And I apologize if there's a slight delay on the screen mirror from my iPad to my screen. I'm using an app that you can download offline called Lonely Screen to do AirPlay, a screen mirror from my iPad to my computer screen. Lonely Screen is free to download. It will pop up and ask you to purchase to get off the trial and do the main purchase of it. But as long as I've had it, I've never had to do that. You just, every now and then, you have to click a little maybe later from a prompt that comes up. You'll see that this will probably come up while we're doing this. But you can see the instructions are pretty easy. You play, sing, and create your own story. So what I do when I introduce this to him, of course, I have given him background on Mozart. We talk about opera, what opera is, what opera singers do, what makes this type of singing unique. And then we will click on famous operas within the app, and then I will play one of the three opera stories available to them. You can see they've got Hansel and Gretel, the Magic Flute. That's, of course, is the Mozart one. I usually will play that one since our unit revolves around Mozart from the beginning, and then William Tell. And you can see slight descriptions in the bottoms of what each of these operas about. So that's the first thing I do, is I let them watch what one of the operas is going to look like. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and actually create our very own opera, so you can kind of see how the mechanics of the app work. So the first thing you want to do is you want to click on New Opera. When you click on New Opera, you're going to be given the choice of three different stories. You've got the kidnapping, which, as you can see, it says you're going to stage an exciting kidnapping. There are three characters that you'll be creating: the hero, the villain, and the victim. And then in the story of the threat, you're going to have the hero saving the king or queen from a threat on the village from the villain. And then the final one, the enchantment, is a little confusing for students to understand. So that's usually the one I do when I'm trying to explain to them the mechanics of it. In the enchantment, you actually are going to be creating four different characters. Of course, you got your hero and you got your villain, but your victim is actually going to come across as two different characters. You've got your victim that's in their cursed form, and your victim that's in their regular form when they're not cursed. So that's the one that I usually like to go with. So that's the one that I'm going to use just so you can see how that one works. But the other two, kidnapping and threat, are just basic. You got your villain, your victim, and your hero. And you can see the descriptions of the stories are pretty self explanatory. So we're going to go into the enchantment. And I tell my students, once I've shown them how to do this, I will basically just kind of let them create it on their own. And of course, I walk around the room as they're doing this and make sure that they are creating, that they had missed anything, that they're using, putting in all the elements, they're using all the different aspects of each of the scenes that they're creating. They make sure to give each of their characters a name, that they haven't missed anything. So I'll go through and just check their scenes to make sure everything looks good. So I tell them, before you play your opera for yourself, raise your hand and let me check your scenes to make sure you didn't miss anything on your way through. Because some kids, they'll like to rush through it, or they'll just naturally just overlook an element that they need to add. So this is the script that you can see here. In the script, it starts off with the overture. The overture is really, really easy. That's just them selecting what kind of music they want to have play at the beginning. And then you've got two recitatives, two arias, and then the finale. Now, the first thing that you're going to do, though, before you get to any of that, is your casting. So, as you can see, the first thing that I make sure to tell them every time you hit a button on one of these, stop and read the penguin's instructions. Please make sure that it's very, very clear when you are having them do this particular activity. So, here, this, like I said, the enchantment, the reason I do this one is because it is a little confusing for them to understand that your cursed victim and the victim are the same person, but one of them is what they look like with the evil spell on them, and one of them is what they look like without the evil spell on them. So I just make sure that they understand that if they're going to pick the enchantment. So now, as you can see, whenever the air plays, my apologies for the slight delay. As you can see, there's nothing. There's nothing on your character here. There's no name. There's no costume. None of it. So first thing you're gonna do, I tell them, is to read what this character is. As you can see, this is the hero, and hero can be a hero or it can be a heroine, however you want to do this. So you want to click the top, and you're going to give this hero a head. So for me, I'm personally going to make my hero a heroine. We're going to let our princess be the heroine for the day, and then we're going to give our princess, let's give our princess something unstandard here. Let's give her a knightly body, because she's a princess and she's saving the day, so she needs to make sure to armor up and protect herself. And then, so you can see the head will allow you to select the head. The body, obviously, you're selecting the body. Pretty self-explanatory there. And then once you have both of those items selected, and again, they can create mix and match. They can make it match just whatever they want to do on that. Next thing you're going to do is at the top above the plaque that says what your character is, you want to give your character a name. And so I just, to make it quick and easy, I just give them usually three to four letter names just so I can get it in there real fast. So this character is going to be called Sue, just for time's sake. Because when I'm going through this, the kids are real anxious to get going on these characters. So I just kind of quick names that come to mind. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to give your character a girl voice or a boy voice, however you want it. It can high sound or a bass sound. So I'm going to give mine a treble sound. So then I'm going to move on, and this, as you can see, is our next character is our cursed victim, and this is what they look like in their normal form. So we're going to pick a head, and we're going to say that it is our, let's say we are, how about saving the king? Okay, let's make the king our cursed victim. So I'm going to give a kingly head here, and then we're going to give a kingly body. So in this case, I'm going to make it match, king head to the king body. And then I'm going to give the king a name. Again, I go for quick, three to four letter names just to make it go by fast when I'm putting these names in. So I'm going to call this cursed victim Bob. Just super, super easy. Sorry, the puppy back here is making all kinds of noise. Then, of course, you got to give them a voice. If it's got pigtails, it's going to be the treble voice. No pigtails. No pigtails, you've got the bass voice or tenor voice, however you want to look at it. And this is what our victim's going to look like in their cursed form. So we're going to pick head here, a matching body. Let's just give them, let's just call him Bobby. Just, is our cursed victim here in their cursed form. So once you have all that in, you have their singing voice and everything, you can then move on to the final one. And the final one is your villain. So let's have our villain be an evil wizard. How about that? Let's do an evil wizard for our villain. We're going to call our evil wizard Fred. Again, time's sake, just got to make it quick. Then you'll notice once you've created this final character, there's no more blue arrow buttons to go over to another character. So I tell them once the blue button at the top is comes up above the penguin, then they're ready to move on to the next step. Now, for the overture, I'm going to go through this real fast. The overture, you're simply going to be creating a title for your opera. You can put you put your name in for the opera. They're going to be creating, selecting what music they're going to be using for this. So I'm just going to leave my title, The Enchantment. I usually do that for my kids. Just to keep it easy, quick and easy, so that I'm not making a whole bunch of different selections while I'm trying to go through this with them. You can see that maybe later popped up for the free trial for Lonely Screen, so I'll just click that. Couldn't fit my whole name in, but that is okay, no big deal. And then we're going to select the music. So, gonna go with that one. Because as you can hear, this is, evil spell being brought down on our victim. So I need music that's kind of evilly sounding. Okay, so like I said, I'm not going to go through all of these, but I do want to show you in the recitative section, when you pull any of the sections up, the first thing you're going to notice is it has instructions. This is what should be happening in the scene. Fred casts a spell on Bob. So my bad guy has turned my victim into their cursed form. Okay. And then, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose a prop to do that. I usually like to go for the potion. It's kind of a go-to for me when I'm doing this with the kids, because as you can see in a minute, when we add props to the scene, then you'll notice a little prop that, especially the lightning bolts in there, can add a little prop in. And yes, I have fun with this too. Okay, so next thing we need is a background. Where is this going to happen? So the mountains and the sun is where you can get your background. So we're going to say that our victim is being cursed. Oh, let's go to this land here. That looks spooky to me. All right, so the next thing we're going to need is, right now, our characters don't really look like our bad guy is doing anything to the good guy. So when you click on the character, you have a few options. It'll put brackets around the character that you're working with. But notice we've got facial expressions. You've got body positions that you can do. You can flip which direction they're looking. You can even make them bigger or smaller, however you want to do it. So first thing, let's give them a face that indicates that they are scared. So we're going to go with this. It makes a fun little sound too. And you've got all kinds of different selections that you can pick from for your characters here. But let's go with this one. Since my character's being cursed, we'll go with that fun little facial expression there. And I'm actually going to flip them around since they need to be facing the villain. And now I need to give a body expression that indicates that they are scared of something. So I tell them to make sure that whatever your instructions for, oh, no, I need to flip them again. There we go. Whatever instructions you have, you need to make sure the scene looks like this is happening. Well, now my victim looks good to go. I need to do something with my villain. So we're going to make him all evil. Let's go with this. evil little face. Ah, I think I like that better. So we're going to go with that. And now I need to give him a body that makes it look like he's actually putting the curse onto my victim. And you know what? I'm going to make him bigger than my victim here just to kind of add an element of that. And I can even move these guys around if I want to, just wherever I want them to be on the screen. Now, next thing you're to do is you're going to add props, and that's your little treasure chest at the top. And I told you earlier, I like using the potion with the lightning bolts because guess what? One of your props just happens to be a lightning bolt. And so once you get your lightning bolt in, you'll notice you've got some options here. You can flip the lightning bolt around, make the lightning bolt bigger or smaller, and you can even trash it if you don't want that particular prop in there. Now, kids have asked me in the past, well, I picked the thing for my villain to use, but I don't like it. I didn't mean to click on that. Well, if you don't like that particular potion or whatever item, or if they did a misclick, if you click on your villain again, or if any of your characters have a prop, when you click on the character with a prop that's in their hand that's actually moving with the character, then you can hit that star button and it allows them to change which prop they're using. So again, lots and lots of fun here. Now, they kids, they like to add a whole bunch of stuff. For time's sake, I tried to keep it real simple when I'm showing them how to put the different elements in. So I'm just going to go with the lightning bolt. And now for the music. Well, we need music that sounds scary because a scary scene is happening. So we're going to listen. Find something on the... Ooh. That gives a spooky side. Now, what I love about the music part, whenever you're clicking on it, it actually does tell them at the top what this is from. So this is Don't Abandon Me from the William Tell by Rossini. And then they can watch their scene. So I tell them before you finish anything, before you hit the blue arrow button, you need to hit the green button so you can see your scene and make sure it is to your liking. And my apologies if there's a delay in sound on this. Okay, now we have our scene looking the way we want it to. We go into the next scene, which is the aria. Arias just contain the one character. Now, my princess, she is to the rescue. So I'm just going to go through these elements really fast. I'm going to be adding a background. Let's put her in the kingdom, getting ready to go. Let's do this first. Oh, nope, we didn't want that, so we're going to trash that. And then let's see. Let's give her facial expressions. She is going to be saving the day. So let's give her... this is a toughie. It's a toughie. Okay.
Yahoo!
Yahoo, that's right. There we go. All right, and then we are going to give her a body expression. She is on her way. Okay, now the face looks kind of silly, so we're going to go with something else on the face. No, don't really like that. So,
La 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 la.
Let's make her determined. Now, you have to kind of play around with it a little bit to make it work, to really find the body and the face that match. Some kids will... Oh, gosh.
Yahoo!
Some kids will just... Yeah, that'll go with that. Let's pick the music. Gotta make it seem like she's going the rescue. Oh, that sounds rescue-y to me. And we're gonna add some props in. How about... Oh, gosh. A birdie sidekick. I don't know. We're gonna stick our sleepy birdie sidekick and we'll make him smaller. Stick him right there. Okay, that's good enough just to see. And let's hit play on that scene. This one, they actually go through the song. And again, my apologies if there is a delay on this. I won't be able to know until after I review the recording. And you can pretty much see kind of how that's going to go. And then they go through that with another Richard Steve, another aria. And in the... as you get into these next sections, your hero or heroine is going to be saving the day In the finale, you've got all three of your characters, and for the enchantment, your victim has turned back into their regular form because to save the day. And once everything is done, then you can click on Watch Opera, or your student can click on Watch Opera and see their creation in the making. And that's the part that they always love. And I've actually found if you introduce this, I get 40 minutes with my kids each week per class. So if you introduce this in the previous week, I find that as long as you keep them going, for 99% of my students, 40 minutes is more than enough time for them to go in and complete their operas and watch the operas and be done. Um, and if they get done quickly and they have completed all the components, then I just let them go in and they can play around with whatever other story. They can watch some of the other stories and other famous operas in there if they want to. They can create a whole new story if they want to, if they have time for it, because you have some of those students that'll move faster than others. Just make sure to keep on top of them as they're doing this. Double check their work as you're going through. If they have questions, obviously you're going to help them, and make sure that you have checked all their elements before they hit their watch opera button, so that they're not forgetting anything. I get kids that'll forget to put a background, kids that'll forget to put facial expressions and things like that. And if you really want to teach them about how operas are supposed to roll, and yeah, yes, this is a very simple way of seeing the opera, but I do this unit with my second graders. They absolutely love it. This is one of my favorite and their favorite lessons that we do throughout the year with my second graders is the opera unit. And when we get into third grade, because I teach first through sixth, so I'm kind of my own feeder program here. When we get into third grade, I can always reference if we're talking about like Beethoven's opera Fidelio, because we study Beethoven. We studied Prokofiev. We studied Tchaikovsky. So when I'm talking about another opera, I can always go back and reference to those students that I had when they were in second grade. Because you get those new students that'll come in third grade. I can reference to the operas that they made in second grade with the opera maker. And I even still discuss that with my upper grades as we're talking about different operas and things in fourth. And then when I get into sixth grade, fifth and sixth grade, and we talk about the evolution of opera to operettas to musical theater, I can always reference back to when we did opera maker in second grade. So again, they have a blast with this one. It's one of my favorite apps that I use. And if you would like to see some more of my favorite apps, I'm going to be doing some more videos and some more of these iPad apps. And I already have several videos about different technologies that you can use in your classroom, different teachers pay teacher activities. I've got all kinds of things that you can find on my website, lmhmusicteacher.wixsite.com/mysite. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe here on my YouTube channel, Dr. Holland's Music Class. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok if you were looking for more great ideas or want to keep up with when I post things. And so I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Please don't hesitate to comment or send me a comment on my website about any more videos that you would like to see. Or if you would like an activity that you would like for me to share about that activity, please make sure to send me that stuff. I'm always looking for cool new stuff to do with my kids as well. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.